"Who is this woman?" As I headed to the entrance, my husband was standing there with an unfamiliar woman. She was quite young and beautiful. When I asked who she was, my husband smiled and said, "This is my new wife. From now on, we will live together in this house." "What are you talking about? What is this all of a sudden? I don't understand. That's why I'm telling you I'm divorcing you. I've become the president and have taken over this house." "What do you mean? Just leave quickly. We don't need you anymore, Auntie." With those words from my husband and his mistress, I was kicked out of the house. My name is Sandy, and I am a 30-year-old office worker. I work at a company owned by my father and support him both at work and in his personal life. This is because ever since I've lost my mother, it's been just the two of us. As my father struggled with housework, I started cooking and cleaning when I was in middle school, and also made lunches for him. My father appreciated my efforts and taught me studies. Thanks to him, I was able to get into a good high school, and later I went on to university. To repay my father, I chose to work at his company after graduating from university. The workplace was filled with kind people, and I felt a great sense of satisfaction when everyone cooperated and achieved great results. I felt motivated and thought it's a good, at-home company. In such an environment, one day, I had a fate-like encounter. A man named Joey joined the company as a mid-career hire, and although he was 2 years older than me, I was immediately drawn to his warm atmosphere and way of speaking. He was enthusiastic about his work and quickly became friends with other colleagues, making me feel that he is a very good person. At first, we were just colleagues at work, but after a year-end party, we started to talk more personally, and soon we began to dine out together frequently. Although I was originally reluctant about romance, I naturally wanted to spend more time with him, and even started to suggest dates proactively. We gradually became closer, and one day he confessed his feelings to me, and we started dating. Ever since we started dating, my motivation at work increased even more. I was serious during work hours, of course, but I enjoyed my time with him during lunch breaks and after work. He knew many dating spots and took me to various places. He also knew many restaurants, and I was surprised to find such delicious places in the town where I had been working at my father's company for a long time. Our relationship went smoothly, and about a year after we started dating, we began considering marriage and even informed my father about it. "I am going out with Sandy, and we are considering marriage in the future," he told my father nervously, and I also expressed our relationship intentions. My father was overjoyed and gave us his blessing with a big smile. Relieved to have my father's approval, our relationship continued smoothly, and about a year and a half after we started dating, he proposed to me. "Let's get married soon and reassure your father," he said, handing me a ring. I happily accepted his proposal. Then, I immediately reported it to my father. My father was very pleased and exclaimed, "Oh, finally getting married, huh?" Afterwards, we visited his family home, and I met his mother. It turned out that he also grew up in a single-parent family, and his mother had divorced his father early on. The reason for their divorce was his father's infidelity. When Joey was still young, his father left the house with his lover. His mother returned to her parents' home and began studying for a national exam with their support. After diligent effort, she passed the exam successfully 2 years later. The exam she passed was the bar exam, and after completing her training, she began her career as a lawyer. Originally, she had graduated from the Faculty of Law and was eligible to become a lawyer, but she had once given up on her aspirations. She quickly found a job, married, and then gave birth to Joey, choosing to live as a housewife. However, after experiencing her husband's infidelity, she decided to surpass him and successfully became a lawyer. Her strict nature was also reflected in her parenting, and Joey was raised with quite a bit of strictness. My mother often scolded me, and honestly, I had a hard time with her. She was always strict, so she might be tough on you too, he warned me, and I felt nervous inside. Okay, understood. But I really admired the capabilities of his mother, who passed the national exam. Then the day came when I met his mother for the first time. Nice to meet you. I'm Sandy. I greeted her. With a stern expression, his mother responded, Nice to meet you. I'm Joey's mother. She was polite, but there was an air of tension. Please, come in, she said, and I entered the house. Yes, I replied, realizing she was indeed the strict person he had described. During the marriage introduction, I was asked many questions and there was a tension like that of an interview, but ultimately she approved of our marriage. After that, Joey and I had our wedding and started our new life together. We enjoyed our days, commuting and returning home together as we worked at the same company. When everyone at work called us the ideal couple, it was embarrassing but made me feel happy. On weekends, we went driving or traveling together, creating many fun memories. Every day, I felt truly glad that I married him. However, there was one concern I had. It was about my mother-in-law. We regularly visited Joey's mother. We felt it was necessary to check on her as she lived alone. However, each time we visited, she would say harsh words to me. Sandy, you need to believe in yourself more. You should be able to clearly refuse things you dislike. If you can't refuse unreasonable demands or handle troublesome matters, you won't be able to cope when you're in trouble. Yes, I understand. Do you really understand what I'm saying? Yes, I do. Make sure your responses are firm, too. Each visit to Joey's mother made me tense. Even when I was contemplating whether to focus on my family or continue working, she had critical opinions. Why would you quit your job after graduating from university? You can quit your job at any time. Even if you don't take over the company, you shouldn't quit lightly. Household chores can be managed with some ingenuity, so you shouldn't quit. Hearing her say this, I couldn't make the decision to quit. In fact, I was scared to report to her if I quit my job. I couldn't even imagine how much she would scold me, so I tried to balance work and household chores in my own way. While it was decided that Joey would eventually take over the family business, and I could have chosen to be a housewife, I decided to continue working following her advice. It's very difficult to go against Joey's mother, and even when helping with household chores at her house, she often had harsh words for me. You need to assert yourself more. Keeping your ground is important because the only person who can protect you is yourself. Her words often hurt me deeply, but Joey always comforted me. My mother is just as strict with herself as she is with others. That's why she has few friends. Don't take her words too much to heart. His words brought me relief. After that, we started to reduce the number of visits to Joey's parents' house. However, another concern arose regarding my father's health. Every time I saw him, he appeared tired. Are you okay? Do you feel unwell? I would ask, and although he would respond with no, I'm fine, it was clear he wasn't in good health. One day, while working, my father suddenly collapsed and was rushed to the hospital. Fortunately, his life was not in danger, but he was quite weakened, and the doctors advised us to live with him if possible to monitor his condition. When I discussed this with Joey, he immediately agreed. We should live with your father and keep an eye on him since I'm worried about his health, Joey said. Thank you, Joey. Initially, my father hesitated to live together, but after I strongly argued that we should prioritize his health, he agreed. We moved into my childhood home to start our life together. Living together went smoothly, and Joey and my father built a good relationship. I was comforted by being able to live close to my father. As he grew older, he became less active than before. It's inevitable that he wouldn't always remain energetic, and with age, sudden deterioration or illness became a concern. Amidst this, there was something slightly worrying. One day, when I returned home from shopping, I found Joey on the phone in the bedroom. Yeah, everything will be in our hands soon. Don't worry, everything is going according to plan. I was curious about what he was discussing, but I decided it was best not to eavesdrop on his phone conversation. I went to the kitchen to put away the groceries, and after Joey finished his call, he came to me. "Are you back already?" "Yes, I just got home. I didn't want to interrupt since you were on the phone." "Did you hear that?" Joey asked. "No, I definitely didn't listen," I replied. "Okay," he said, showing a troubled expression. "Was it something I shouldn't have heard?" A wave of anxiety washed over me. Since we work at the same place, I doubted that the call was work-related. It could have been with his mother, but he doesn't get along well with her, so that seemed unlikely. I wondered who he was talking to and about what. However, around that time, my father's health rapidly deteriorated, diverting my attention to him. He became unable to walk and needed care. "Considering your father's condition, you should quit your job to take care of him. I'll be taking over the company, so you don't need to work anymore," Joey suggested. That might be true. I started to agree, but then I remembered his mother's words, to continue working and to stand strong on my own. Somehow, her words felt significant now. "No, let's hire a daytime helper," I decided. "Huh." Joey looked surprised. "I think there would be a great deal of instability for the company if my father were gone. Even if you become the president, having been the president's daughter at the company for so long, I want to be a source of moral support for everyone. Plus that way I can support you too," I continued. "I see." Joey appeared slightly disappointed. Despite his concern, I felt that quitting my job was not the right choice. Following that intuition, I decided to act on my own resolve. Afterward, my days were filled with a busy schedule of work, household chores, and caring for my father at night. My father seemed apologetic, but repaying him was not a burden to me. Meanwhile, Joey also became busy with taking over the company, making our lives even more hectic. Amid this busyness, we received joyful news I was pregnant. My father was extremely happy to hear this news and eagerly awaited the birth of his grandchild. I too was overjoyed to know that I would be able to show my father his grandchild's face. However, when I told him about the pregnancy, Joey's expression clouded momentarily. "You're pregnant?" he asked. "Yes, it's our child. Aren't you happy?" I responded. "Of course I'm happy. It was just unexpected and surprising, that's all," he said. "Well, you're going to be a dad now, so you've got to do your best," I said. Yeah," he replied, somewhat reluctantly, which concerned me. After a safe delivery, my father met his grandchild for the first time and wept with joy. When we visited Joey's mother, who is usually quite strict, she too showed a gentle smile upon seeing her grandchild and lifted the baby up. "She's truly adorable. Sandy, you did well, giving birth while also managing work. Household chores and caregiving must have been incredibly hard." She praised me, and I felt surprisingly pleased. Maybe Joey's mother wasn't just strict after all. Many people celebrated the birth of our child, which was very heartening. Going forward, I intend to focus on parenting in cooperation with Joey. However, shortly after, my father's health rapidly deteriorated. Despite receiving treatment in the hospital, he passed away a week later. "Dad, why?" I grieved. It was then revealed that my father had been diagnosed with cancer 6 months ago and had been told his time was limited. However, he had kept this fact hidden because he didn't want to worry me. My father didn't want to sadden us by revealing his illness with a child on the way. He was determined to live long enough to see his grandchild, a testament to his strong will. Learning of my father's feelings, I couldn't hold back my tears. The funeral was held and many people attended. It became clear how much my father was loved. Seeing the friends and colleagues who came to pay their respects, I managed to perform my duties as the chief mourner without shedding tears, maintaining composure throughout the ceremony. After the funeral, we sorted through his belongings. During this time, Joey naturally took over as president of the company. For about a month, everything was peaceful. However, after that, something unbelievable happened. That day we were hit by unexpected bad weather with a torrential downpour. Joey said he was going out to shop, but I felt uneasy. While I was feeding the baby milk, Joey returned. I went to greet him at the entrance with relief, saying, "Welcome back. I'm home." Joey replied, Who is this woman?" As I approached the entrance, Joey was standing there with an unfamiliar woman. She was quite young and beautiful. When I asked who she was, Joey smiled and said, "This is my new wife. From now on, we will live together in this house." "What are you talking about? What is this all of a sudden? I don't understand. That's why I'm telling you I'm divorcing you. I've become the president and have taken over this house." "What do you mean? Just leave quickly. We don't need you anymore, Auntie." With those harsh words from my husband and his mistress, I was forced out of the house with my baby in my arms, into the pouring rain. Unable to return home, I pressed the intercom and knocked on the door, but neither my husband nor the woman responded. Desperate, I sought shelter from the rain and remembered a small tunnel-shaped play structure in a nearby park, so I ran there. While sheltering in the tunnel, I shivered from the cold as both my baby and I were soaked. I knew this wasn't good for the baby. I had to find a warm place and seek help from someone. Despite feeling hopeless, I decided to call my mother-in-law for help. Even if she didn't like me, I believed she would act for the sake of her grandchild. Hoping she would at least take care of my baby, I explained the situation over the phone. Responding to my call, my mother-in-law immediately came to pick us up in her car. "Sandy," she called out when she saw me. "Mother," I replied. "Quickly, get in the car," she urged. She drove us to her home, taking both the baby and me. "Please take care of this child," I asked, to which my mother-in-law frowned slightly but responded, "What are you talking about? You come in too. Is it really okay for me too?" I asked. "Of course you are family too," she said. Her kind words almost overwhelmed me. I'm truly sorry for Joey's irresponsible behavior. I've always felt he had traits similar to his father, but I thought there wouldn't be any problems because he married someone as wonderful as you. Yet he still caused trouble. My mother-in-law continued. Her understanding and support in that moment of crisis not only offered me shelter but also renewed my hope and faith in family. "Am I wonderful?" I asked on surprise. "Of course you are. As I've said before, you have lived admirably. You handle household chores, caregiving, parenting, and work all by yourself. I respect you for that. That's why I can't forgive my son for betraying someone like you," my mother-in-law stated. Her words moved me to tears. She had been observing all my efforts all along. "Don't cry, become stronger. You're a mother," she advised. "Yes." She gently patted my head to comfort me and made some warm coffee. After I had calmed down a bit, my mother-in-law spoke with determination. "Now, it's time to fight back. We'll correct this wrongdoing." She declared her support as a lawyer and prepared to stand by my side. I couldn't have wished for stronger support, and together we crafted a plan to confront my husband and his mistress, who had unjustly taken over my home. Upon arriving at the house, my husband greeted us dismissively. "What are you doing here?" However, the moment he realized his mother was behind me, his expression turned to one of shock. "Why is Mom here?" he asked. "Joey, today I am not here as your mother, but as a lawyer. We have a lot to discuss, so let us in. If you refuse, we will meet in court," my mother-in-law stated, and reluctantly, my husband let us in. The mistress was visibly shocked to see my mother-in-law and me, but became even more astounded upon learning that she was a lawyer. "Let's start the discussion. You said you've inherited the house, but where are the documents for that? Sandy was supposed to inherit it," my mother-in-law questioned. "I've properly prepared the documents and completed the procedures, so there's no issue," my husband replied. "That's not correct. Sandy says she doesn't remember signing any such documents. Ownership transfer documents require the actual person's signature for submission," my mother-in-law countered. Caught off guard by her assertion, My husband stumbled over his words. It appeared that the documents had been forged. My mother-in-law pressed my husband further. Document forgery is a legally punishable act. Do you understand what you've done? I won't let you get away with claiming ignorance. Even if you didn't know, you can't escape responsibility. She continued. My husband started to sweat profusely as his panic became evident. The mistress also lost her composure. Looking around anxiously, Sandy signed it. She was just upset and forgot. My husband attempted to defend himself, but I calmly rebutted. No, I did not sign anything. A handwriting analysis will prove it. You forged the documents. That's a clear fact. My husband floundered, mumbling, well, Joey, stop this nonsense. My mother-in-law scolded, causing him to literally stagger. Sorry I had her forge it, he confessed. This makes the evidence complete. My mother-in-law stated, indicating a voice recorder. My husband turned pale, speechless, and immobilized. Anyway, as Sandy's attorney, I demand that you divide the property and leave this house immediately, she declared. Why are you supporting her, Mom? My husband pleaded. Sandy is a respectable person. Once she married you, she became part of my family, making her important to me too. My mother-in-law responded. But I am your real son, he protested. You have betrayed this family. From now on, I am severing ties with you. I don't want you to show your face to us ever again. Disheartened, my husband hung his head in shame. The mistress, too, was visibly shaken and seemed petrified. Following this, my husband and I divorced, and I was able to recover my father's estate. My ex-husband lost his position at the company and became ostracized by the staff, eventually being forced to resign. In reality, he left the company almost as if he were fleeing. Subsequently, I took over my father's company and began working as its president. During the day, my mother-in-law would come over to help take care of the baby. I had never expected that someone I once found difficult to deal with would become such a significant support. I am truly grateful for her assistance. As for my ex-husband, after leaving the company, he failed to secure a large house, which resulted in the mistress abandoning him. He is now burdened with a substantial amount of debt and child support payments and is struggling to make ends meet through part-time jobs. As president, I am vigorously working while dedicating myself to protecting the livelihoods of our employees and my child. This challenging journey has reaffirmed the value of family and resilience, guiding me to lead both my family and the company towards a stable future.